Tiny hands gripped a soft woolen blanket. Millvina Dean, just 9 weeks old, knew nothing of the world around her. She couldn't understand the shouts, the rushing feet, the fear that clung to the air like a cold sea mist. All she knew was the warmth of her mother's arms and the gentle rocking of a lifeboat. This was Millvina's introduction to the world, an escape from tragedy on the doomed ship, the Titanic. Millvina's family, simple farmers from England, were third-class passengers on the Titanic. They carried dreams of a new life in America. Her father, Bertram, had saved every penny to open a tobacco shop in Kansas. He held tight to his wife, Eva, and their 2 young children, hoping for a brighter future across the ocean. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. The Titanic, a marvel of engineering, sliced through the icy waters of the North Atlantic. It was a grand ship, said to be unsinkable. For the Dean family, crammed into their modest quarters, the journey was both exciting and daunting. Little did they know those first few days at sea would be their last moments of ordinary life. On April 14th, 1912, the unthinkable happened. At 11:40 p.m., a lookout's cry pierced the night. Iceberg right ahead. The ship, too large to turn in time, grazed the iceberg's side. What seemed like a minor collision sent shockwaves through the Titanic's hull. Below decks, water poured into the ship's compartments, sealing its fate. Chaos erupted. The once grand halls filled with panic as the realization set in: the Titanic was sinking. Bertram Dean, sensing the danger, rushed his family up from their cabin. With life jackets secured, they joined the throngs, desperate to reach the lifeboats. Amidst the chaos, Bertram made a fateful decision. He placed his wife and children in lifeboat 10, promising to join them soon. Millvina, her cries lost in the din, was lowered into the lifeboat with her mother and brother. They watched in horror as the Titanic, lights blazing, slipped beneath the waves. Bertram Dean was never seen again. He became one of the over 1,500 souls lost to the icy depths. Millvina, the youngest passenger aboard the Titanic, survived the disaster, but she lost her father and her chance at a life in America. She, her mother and brother returned to England. Eva Dean, widowed and heartbroken, struggled to raise her children alone. Millvina's early life was marked by poverty and the unspoken grief of the Titanic. Her mother, unable to bear speaking of the tragedy, kept the story buried deep within their family. It wasn't until Millvina was 8 years old, while looking at a magazine article, that she discovered the truth about her harrowing start in life. Years passed. Millvina lived a quiet life, working as a cartographer, later marrying and having a family of her own. The Titanic, a ghost from her past, rarely entered her thoughts. But fate, it seemed, wasn't finished with Millvina Dean. In 1985, at the age of 73, Millvina attended a Titanic Historical Society convention. She was, by then, one of the last remaining survivors. Thrust into the spotlight, she found herself sharing her story with the world. Despite the attention, Millvina remained humble and private, always remembering the tragedy with a sense of sadness rather than sensationalism. Spirit in the face of unimaginable tragedy. Millvina Dean, the last survivor of the Titanic, passed away in 2009 at the age of 97. Her life, forever linked to that fateful night in 1912, serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of the human spirit. She carried the weight of history with grace and humility, sharing her story not for fame, but to honor the memory of those lost and the bravery of those who survived. Millvina's legacy is one of quiet strength, of loss overcome, of a life irrevocably shaped by tragedy, but lived with dignity and purpose. Her story, like the wreck of the Titanic itself, lies beneath the waves of time, a somber echo of a night that changed the world forever.